The MVP of the league this season for me has been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, this is the first time since I've been doing this whole thing professionally where we got to the last couple weeks of the NBA season and there was like a 3 to 4 man race that really was a race. Because every time you get like, oh, so-and-so should be in the conversations for MVP, and you're like, being in the conversation is a lot different than actually being able to win it. So this is one of those years where I went with Shai, but if you have Jokic or you have Wemby, hell, even if you have Luka, depending on what's going on with his birth of his kids, that he may be getting that 65 game rule reduced or whatever, I can't call you crazy, right? I really cannot wait to see what the overall ballot will look like from the actual voters. ESPN did their last forecast where they asked 100 writers and people in the NBA space who's the MVP, and Shai won it there, which is pretty interesting. The Athletic did their anonymous poll from NBA players. Shai won it there. So I'm starting to feel like Shai will win it, but also NBA.com had their ladder, and Wemby has been the number one guy for the last month or so. So I think it's really up in the air, but I can't wait to see who finishes second, third, and I'm assuming Luka will be fourth just based off, the games played and all. But my argument for Shai over the other two guys, because I don't have any argument against Jokic. I don't have any argument against Wemby or so on. Those guys have phenomenal seasons. And again, if they're your MVP, they're your MVP, and I'm not mad at you. But the thing that put it over the top for me is I think that of these candidates, Shai has been the one that has been most consistent, right? Whether it be, Wembanyama coming back from his injury and coming off the bench and maybe not looking like the best player in the world, whatever the hell you got, Wembanyama, whether it be Jokic coming off his injury for those 2 weeks where you're like, Jokic is looking a little bit weird. Whether it be Luka starting off the year or in the middle of like the, let's say, November, December range where he was getting his counter stats, maybe the impact didn't feel that great. I feel like Shai from the very first game of the season to game 81, I guess, he had been the most consistent superstar of them all. And I know it's hard to kind of internalize some of the stuff that we're seeing in real time, some of the legendary things. Hell, I think Jokic had a legendary season this year again. I think Wemby had a legendary season when you account for the offense and the defense. But it's hard to really internalize that because we're watching that in real time. But to have a guard be as efficient as Shai is, it's just a whole nother level. The another part that put him over the top is that he also is my clutch player of the year this season. I have many, many memories of the season where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has gone into a fourth quarter and dropped 10 or so points. He's gone into the last 2 minutes of a game and hit a game winner. Hell, he had a game early this season where he hit what we thought was a game winner. He got called for a push-off. They went into overtime, and then he hit a game winner in that overtime. There's been moments on top of moments on top of moments. So they have the team wins, which is very important as well, obviously, when you talk about the MVP race. And he's done it without, at least for the most part, I think J-Dub's played with 33 games. J-Dub was just an all-NBA player, all-defensive player just last season. J-Dub has missed over half of the season this year, and nothing has changed for the OKC Thunder. Hell, Dub missed the first however many games, and they were 24-1, right? So all of these things, I don't think he leaves a single thing when you think about the MVP race unchecked. Both sides of the ball. I know people have different opinions about Shai as a defensive player. Is he really good? Is he just a product of everybody else being really good? Regardless, that's the thing. And then just like these other guys, man, some of these on-off numbers are scary, right? Jokic obviously has always been an on-off beast. Wemby has an on-off beast, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But, people may look at Shai and try to discredit him because the team wins through defense. That is 100% true. They were a legendary defense last season. They were a great defense again this season. They went through their defense for sure. So Chet, who was in conversation for DPOY, but obviously not going to win it. Alex Caruso, when he plays. Lou Dort, Casey Wallace is on my all-defensive team. So they went through defense, but they still need that closer. And when Shai is not on the court, they have a league average, below league average offense. And when he's on the court, they have one of the best offenses ever. That's a one-man swing. A guy that don't even really take threes. Mid-range jump shots, get into the basket, draw some fouls. That's what Shai has been able to do. So he is my MVP. I understand the Yoke conversation or the Yoke, argument. The Wemby argument where you talk about possession by possession impact. It's hard to beat Wemby out there, but I'm going to give this one to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I spent a lot of time on MVP. I promise you I won't spend that much time on all these other awards because we actually just did MVPs and Rookie of the Years or numbers on the board. But one thing I had to remember is that the demographic over here, the people that are watching small ball are not the same people that are watching numbers on the board, and not the same people that are watching the Kenny For Real channel. So I don't want to leave y'all out the loop. So some of these ones, if you you want to hear me go more in depth, we did it on numbers on the board, and we also did it on Kenny for real. Rookie of the year, another super tough one. Con Knipple or Cooper Flagg is a question. And I truly do believe this is one of those years where it will be the eye of the beholder, because Con Knipple was able to do what he has done on a team that was competing on a nightly basis for a playoff spot. Will they make it? I don't really know. While Cooper Flagg was doing it on a team that wasn't, I wouldn't use the word tanking when you watch the Dallas Mavericks, at least until we got to the last half of the season or quarter of the season. They were just a team that didn't have a lot of talent, I guess, at the end of the day. Anthony Davis being out, Kyrie Irving being out for the entirety of the season. So he was doing it on a team that just wasn't winning games. So what do you value more? Do you value stats maybe being just slightly lower on a playoff team, or stats being higher on a team that wasn't winning many games? And I fought with myself about this personally as well. Con Knipple set the record for most three-pointers made by a rookie. Hell, he led the entire league in three-point shooting over Curry, who missed a lot of time, but over Curry, over Donovan Mitchell, guys who are usually at the top, over James Harden, over Anthony Edwards. It was a rookie Con Knipple, right? Cooper Flagg was the youngest player to ever drop 50 in a game. Even if you watch that game, which I was doing, he dropped like 20 of those in the fourth quarter in the game that was already over. I don't care about that. He dropped 50. I think that people sometimes look at Rookie of the Year and think that the way people are voting on Rookie of the Year is them trying to say, oh, this player will be the best player in this class. And that's not the case. We've seen so many players win Rookie of the Year that ended up being the third to fourth to fifth best player in an overall class, but we're looking at the body of work for what it is. Cooper Flagg was the number one option on this team. The entire offense ran through him, specifically in that second half of the season. It was all Cooper Flagg all the time. Con Knipple was the second option, third option on some nights, and he was pretty damn good at that as well. To be a rookie shooting that efficiently and off the dribble, and both of these guys had phenomenal years. Ultimately, I did give the nod to Cooper Flagg for Rookie of the Year. Again, I'm open to be swayed one way or another, but Cooper Flagg is going to be my Rookie of the Year. And I think that I mentioned the MVP race being close. I think this race is going to be even closer. It's been 30 years since we had a co-Rookie of the Year. And I don't want to call it Rookie of the Year, by the way, unless it literally is the exact same vote number. But if it happened, it's like, it makes sense. It really is the eye of the beholder. If you put these two guys in the schoolyard draft, I think 100% of the time Cooper Flagg is drafted first. But again, that's not what this award is about. It's about the rookie season and the body of work. And Con Knipple's advanced stats are looking better. And I listened to Zach Lowe, and he explained it mostly as the fact that Con Knipple is contributing to a winning organization right now. And also the three-point shooting adds X amount more of value when it comes to the on-off advanced stats, yada, yada, yada. Flagg is going to be the guy for me. But it was very close.